So, today we once again gonna go through 21 lessons for the 21st century by Yuval Noah Harari. I do hope that I've pronounced him correctly, as quite always. And yeah, it's a pretty cool summary and a pretty long summary as well, so it's gotta be quite detailed, I guess, and I'm looking forward to it, I know, but I'm looking forward to it after the intro, because there gotta be the intro, quite. There gotta be the intro that you probably can't hear because, because of reasons, because of things. And yeah, with that being said, hello, welcome back to the next episode of the Self-Development with Tactics podcast. And I'm pretty fucking happy to be here, record this episode and talk about books that I really fucking care about and talk about stuff that I really fucking care about. Because indeed, this is just an amazing book. Just really fucking amazing book. It's just nice, And we're already there. And today we're going to talk about equality and community and civilization and probably even more things. It depends on how fast I'm going to be. But, we are only 1 minute in and I've just done everything. Quite. Check out the podcast, by the way, because I think that the podcast per se is better for such an episode than the YouTube videos, because you can listen to it, you can do just something besides that and stuff like that, or just check out the article. It's also a good idea. Chapter 4. Equality. Those who own the data own the future. Yes. Harari says that unlike land and machines, data is everywhere and nowhere at the same time. It can move at the speed of light and you can create as many copies of it as you want. So we had better call upon our lawyers, politicians, philosophers, and even poets to turn their attention to this conundrum, which is, because I don't know, gonna see, problem. The key political question of our era is quite possibly, how do you regulate the ownership of data? Yes, indeed. It's, I think, a really big question and also a really important question because there's so much data around, like we all have so much data. This also echoes what many commentators are saying when analyzing the forward march of big tech companies who, more often than not, are spearheaded by people who lack the fundamentals when it comes to the broader economic, political, social, or philosophical implications of their work. We need to solve complex problems by taking a multidisciplinary approach. Yes, indeed. We just, we gotta have to really have a look at everything. Gotta have to take in the whole picture. Just being like nitpicking fucking things and being like, well, it could work in that way, but saying that by obviously not really just taking into account all the things we should or this person should, like really indeed important thing, but what I didn't really get is what many march of big tech companies who more often than not are spearheaded by people who lack the fundamentals. What is spearhead? Is it let? Spare tip spare? Well, probably yes. But I'm not quite sure about that. Or it is about the commentators, I'm not quite sure now. But the thing is, like, if it is about big tech companies, let's say Amazon, let's say hardware-wise Apple as well, and then also Samsung and whatnot, the leaders of these companies, they are fucking smart. Also just, I don't know, SpaceX and Tesla. Like, Elon Musk is such a smart fucking ass dude. It really is the case. Concerning data and stuff, like, I don't know. Chapter 5, Community. On tech addiction and how it is compromising genuine human connection and community. Harari makes the point that it is easier than ever to talk to his cousin in Switzerland, but it is harder to talk to his husband over breakfast because he constantly looks at his smartphone instead of at him. Which I guess, yes. A biggest problem I'm having with that is that if it is bothering you, change it. And don't fucking complain about fucking tech. We really have to be thankful for the things that we all are having, for the opportunities that come with all the things that we're having, like the internet. Such a big opportunity for making money, building something, gaining knowledge. It's just insane how smart we have gotten through the internet and because of all the information that we can access. Of course, like, yes, not all the information is going to be right to 100%, But if you really care about your sources, if you really care about where you get your information from, then you can be quite sure that what you get is quite accurate and quite good, at least at my point of view. Of course, you should also not judge a book by its cover. Just because a website looks like fucking shit doesn't mean that the information is also going to be shit. Like, it might be the case that the first 5 minutes of the video are a little bit, or 6 minutes, a little bit of a different quality, you know, because the phone turned itself off, which is not a good thing, and now it is like, yeah, I have to record it once again, even though I think I could also just use the other one, but I'm not quite sure. Everything is still there, which is a good thing. But yeah, anyway, we are just gonna go ahead, I guess, with it. And yeah, this is what we're gonna do. It's a little bit of a fucked up thing, also because I have wasted quite a lot of time there. But yeah, let's see. Chapter 6, Civilization. 10,000 years ago, humankind was divided into countless isolated tribes where we knew no more than a few dozen people. With each passing millennium, these tribes fused to larger and larger groups, creating fewer and fewer distinct civilizations. In recent generations, the few remaining civilizations have been bleeding into a single global civilization. People care far more about their enemies than about their trade partners, says Harari. For every American film about Twain, there are probably about 50 about Vietnam. The people we fight most often are our family members. Is it really the case? Like, I'm not sure about that. I'm actually quite unsure about that. But the thing is, yes, indeed, we care just really a lot about our enemies. And I think this is definitely something that we all can admit, and we all can say, and we all not necessarily believe in, but I think we all can see that. This is my point. There is nothing wrong with banning patriotism, or banning patriotism. The problem, Harari warns, starts when banning, what the fuck, patriotism morphs into chauvinistic ultra-nationalism. Instead of believing that my nation is unique, which is true all nations, I might begin feeling that my nation is supreme. Wait. Instead of believing that my nation is unique, you begin to feel like that your nation is supreme and or better than any other nation, which is totally not the truth. Because first of all, you can't generalize shit, you know? You can't be like, oh, my nation is the best just because you have the best cheese, because you have the best cows, because you have the best football team. No, maybe in this small little section of all this whole fucking picture, your nation is better. But yeah. The environment. Unless we dramatically cut the emission of greenhouse gases in the next 20 years, average global temperature will increase by more than 2 degrees Celsius, resulting in expanding deserts, disappearing ice caps, rising oceans, and more extreme weather events such as hurricanes and typhoons, which is indeed not a cool thing. It isn't a coincidence that skepticism about climate change tends to be the preserve of the nationalist right, says Harari. You rarely see left-wing socialists tweet that climate change is a Chinese hoax when there is no rational answer, but only a global answer to the problem of global warming. Some nationalist politicians prefer to believe the problem does not exist. Yes, indeed. The thing is, I don't know, like the problem that I'm seeing is that you can really indeed change data or view data in such a way that yes, it is not there. At least as far as I have seen things. And, you know, the thing is, I can emphasize with people that say like, no, it is not there. But also with people that say like, it is fucking there because we're having fucking data. You know, and data says something. But if you just don't see the data as maybe you should be seeing it, and I just really do not want to get politically there, I just don't give a shit, then of course you're gonna see things differently if you just view the data differently. So yeah, you know, it is really indeed such a situation where I kind of have to say like, nah, you know, just there's always going to be a debate about that. There's always going to be like points that go for both sides and can be used for both sides. It just depends on how you view them and all that shit, you know. But of course, you know, who says or just who decides who is viewing the points and or the data in the right way? I think this is more or less a better question. To counter this, the advent of unconventional technologies might help. For example, clean meat. This might sound like scientific fiction, but the world's first clean hamburgers was grown from cells and then eaten in 2013, and now we're having fucking 2020. It cost $330,000. 4 years of research and development brought the price down to $11 per unit, and within another decade, clean meat is expected to be cheaper than slaughtered meat, which can count for a lot towards ecological rejuvenation when you consider that the water footprint of beef alone is 1,800 gallons per pound of beef, which is insane. 1,800 times 5 liters, it's quite something. I know it's really something, but I don't know, like the thing that I'm seeing there is as well is that of course people are going to be like, don't eat that meat because this meat is not natural meat, shouldn't be eating this because it is just somehow biologically made out of cells and whatnot and stuff and whatever. Of course, I don't know the data, and I don't know the facts, and I don't know just what this meat actually is. So this might just also be like an unnecessary thought, if you will. But still, of course, there's always going to be people being like, you shouldn't be doing this, you shouldn't be doing that, and stuff like that. 3 threats facing humanity: technological, nuclear, and ecological. We now have a global ecology, a global economy, and global science, but we are still stuck with only national politics. Well, it's not quite sure. This mismatch prevents the political system from effectively countering main problems. To have effective politics, we must either be globalizing economics and the major science, or we must globalize politics. But since just the later one is not going to work out that well, I don't know, maybe in the future we're going to have a president of the world. Could be the case, I don't know, like, or just, let's say a government of the world, because I think giving just the whole world to one person might be a little bit insane, wouldn't it? Well, yeah. Global governance, Harari says, is unrealistic. Well, rather to globalize politics means that political dynamics within countries give far more weight to global problems and interests. I mean, our thoughts as well. I know globalizing politics is not going to work out that easily. So just, let's talk about the other 2 points. It seems better. Chapter 8, and now I really hope that I'm not going to fuck with anybody there. Religion. This is not my opinion. I do just want to point out, because I think, as well as with politics, it is a very, 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 very sensitive thing and topic and stuff. And discussing it is pretty unnecessary. Talking about it, I think I can. But as I said, it's not my opinion. I'm just going to read it. I try to not add too much. Yeah. Religion. Harari says that in order to understand the role of traditional religions in the world of the 21st century, we need to distinguish between 3 types of problems. The first, technical problems. How should farmers in arid countries deal with severe droughts caused by global warming? The second one is policy problems. What measures should government adopt to prevent global warming in the first place? And the third one is identity problem. Should I even care about the problem of farmers or problems of farmers on the other side of the world? These are the 3 things: technical or technological problems, policy problems, and identity problems. As Karl Marx argued, religion doesn't really have much to contribute to the great policy debates of our time. Freud ridiculed this obsession people have about such matters as a narcissism of small differences. On this point, I did some research to find out why the Eastern Orthodox and Western Christian religions branched off from each other. One of the key points of difference that ultimately split the church was that most Western Christians use a version of the Nicene Creed that states that the Holy Spirit proceeds from the Father and the Son, whereas the original Orthodox version doesn't feature and the Son. That was it. Perhaps Freud had a point. I actually didn't know about that, so it's pretty good to know. So, and I, by the way, think that this is something that the author of the summary added, not necessarily Harari. So, but I'm not sure. Could also be Harari. Like, I really don't know. Chapter 9, Immigration. To clarify matters, Harari defines immigration as a deal with 3 basic conditions or terms. The first one, the host country allows to immigrates in. What allows to immigrates in? Well, I know what he means, but well, anyway. The second one is, in return, the immigrants must embrace at least the norms and values of the host country, even if that means giving up some of their traditional norms and values, which, by the way, I think is a very important point. Like, I mean, there's some kind of a trade-off, isn't it? You know, you go to a new country, you're hopefully gonna have it better, you get some things, whatever it might be, or you hopefully get some things, and in return, you gotta have to fucking adapt to the fucking country. You know, this is, by the way, not just direct to just immigrants and some shit. I don't give a fuck, but I think it just makes sense. The third one, if they assimilate to a sufficient degree over time, they become equal and full members of the host country. They become us. Precisely because you cherish tolerance, says Harari, you cannot allow too many intolerant people in. While the tolerant society can manage more liberal minorities, if the number of such extremes exceeds a certain threshold, the whole nature of society changes. If you're bringing in too many immigrants from the Middle East, you will eventually end up looking like the Middle East, says Harari. At least in the first place, I guess, you know, because people are going to adapt, people are going to change their values and behaviors and you know, also kind of cultures, isn't it? The case, and they're gonna adapt to the host country. But I know what he means. I really know what he means, and you know, something that I haven't thought about that much, to be honest. On culturists, people continue to conduct a heroic struggle against traditional racism without noticing that the battlefront has shifted from traditional racism to culturists. I don't know what a culturist is, but so I'm gonna look it up fairly quickly, and there is nothing. Thank you, motherfucker. The next thing is gonna be terrorism. On terrorists, they kill very few people, but nevertheless manage to terrify billions and shake huge political structures such as the European Union or the United States to their core. Since the September 11th, every year terrorists have killed about 50 people in the EU, about 10 people in the US, and about 7 people in China, and 25,000 people globally, mostly in Iraq, Afghanistan, Pakistan, Nigeria, and Syria. Diabetes and high sugar levels kill up to 3.5 million people annually, while air pollution kills about 7 million people. Terrorism is like the fly that tries to destroy a china shop. The fly is so weak that it cannot move even a single teacup. How does a fly destroy a china shop? Asks Harari. It gets inside a bull's ear and starts buzzing. The bull goes wild with fear and anger and destroys the china shop. This is what happened after 9/11, as Islamic fundamentalists got inside the ear of the American bull to destroy the Middle Eastern china shop. Now they flourish in the wreckage, and Harari reminds us that there is no shortage of short-tempered bulls in the world. I like that. Not the thing per se, but I like the way he communicated that. Very insightful and very good. The overreaction to terrorism possesses a far greater threat to our society than terrorists themselves. This lesson echoes lessons from Robert Greene's 33 strategies of war in lulling your opponent into making premature, emotional-driven decisions and ultimately the wrong move on that you're ready to capitalize on. Harari says that a successful counter-terrorism struggle should be conducted on 3 fronts. First of all, government should focus on clandestine actions against the terror networks. I don't like terror. It's so I can't even understand myself by saying it. Second of all, the media should keep things in perspective and avoid hysteria theater. As it stands, the media obsessively report terror attacks because reports on terrorism sell newspapers much better than reports of diabetes and pollution. Yes, because we don't want to fucking hear that. We don't want to fucking hear that however we're eating is the fucking dumbest shit we could ever do. Third of all, the imagination of each and every one of us. Terrorists hold our imagination captive and use it against us. It is the responsibility of every citizen to liberate his or her imagination from terrorists and to remind ourselves of the true dimensions of the threat. And see how things really work out. You know? Chapter 11, War. Today, information technology and biotechnology are more important than heavy industry when it comes to war. Today, the main economic assets consists of technical and institutional knowledge rather than wheat fields, gold mines, or even oil fields, and you just cannot conquer knowledge through war. At this point of time, no, I guess. Yeah. You know, back in the days, you could have been able to do that by stealing books and shit. But yeah, anyway, this is going to be the end of the episode. I really have to thank you for being here and for all the time and attention. I can't talk today, but I don't know why. It happened to me like just not that much in the past months. It's, by the way, insane that I'm already, I think, 2 months at home. I think in 3 days it's going to be 2 months. And, you know, I think in total it's going to be around 10 weeks or some shit. So it's going to be 2 months and 2 weeks. Quite, I guess. Not fully, but quite. I think maybe 17 days. No, not 17 days, but 10 days, I think. So it's not going to be full 2 weeks, but it's going to be, you know, I think actually exactly 10 days. So 2 months and 10 days, which is an insane thing, by the way. And, you know, but I gotta have to say, like, it went by relatively quickly, to be honest. Like but I'm really, truly happy about that. In 2 weeks, I'm gonna write my exams, and then I'm gonna finish school, and I'm gonna graduate, and everything is gonna be fine, and then I can move on with other things and see where life is, you know, leading myself to. Unfortunately, there's not gonna be a big quote-unquote vacation that I'm gonna have with my schoolmates, at least not in this year. I do hope that we're gonna do that because yeah, you know, I would like to have that. But it's difficult to say, like, I don't know, after a year of just not seeing anyone and stuff, like, are people gonna be like, well, yeah, let's do that? Probably not, I guess. But anyway, I'm hopefully gonna see you the next time. So I wish you the best health, of happiness, and also success, and also hope that you're gonna rise up and you're gonna be remembered, which basically means your legacy, and basically means just being a nice person and being remembered as a nice person. The question of the day, by the way, is, because I've kind of skipped that, what could you do, what could you say, what could you make that could really change and evolutionize, if this is a word, I don't know, somebody's life? Could you do something? Could you make something? Could you say something? Could you communicate something where you know that the person is really gonna like that? Yeah. But anyway, I'm hopefully going to see you the next time. So 3 questions, and this is going to be the 3 last questions that I'm going to have for you, which are, why are you here? What are you trying to change? And what is bothering you the most? These 3 questions are hopefully going to show you your purpose and maybe even a business idea, which is the optimal thing there is. And just a really good thing. Anyway, hopefully see you the next time. Bye-bye. Thank you very much from the bottom of my heart. And I'll see you maybe in Sapiens, which is going to be the next recording that I have to do, which is going to be amazing, I think. Bye-bye.